Well, good afternoon, everybody. Hopefully, you can hear me and see me. If you could let me know in the chat, that would be absolutely fantastic. And I'm really excited today to have the first guest on the new kind of Let's Chat format that I'm going to have, where we're going to go through regular conversations like this with various different developers on a live stream. Because I think it's kind of super interesting to find out what goes on behind the scenes with these tools and plugins and services. And I think you're probably going to have questions yourself. So I'm incredibly excited to have Jewel here today from WPManageNinja, who yesterday released the open release of Fluent Cart, which was met with a huge amount of interest and excitement. So, Jewel, thank you very much for joining me today, and I hope you're doing super, super well.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you so much for inviting in your show. I'm a fan, uh, and I would like to talk about anything WordPress, Fluent Cart, or the company.
Awesome. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of questions, and I've got a couple that I kind of sort of want to ask today. But let's start off first of all by just talking briefly about Fluent Cart. I mean, that's your latest product. I know there's been a huge amount of people waiting for that, myself included. As you know, I'm transitioning over to Fluent Community from Circle, and a big part of that is that I want to have the ease of the payment gateway and the interactivity where I can connect all the different elements up, which, the Fluent products are super useful for doing that. Fluent CRM is the backbone of my email marketing. So I've been waiting for this. I've been beta testing it. I've been speaking to you sort of various different times, feeding back, as I know a lot of other people have done. But what was the reason behind actually creating Fluent Cart? I mean, when you've got competition like WooCommerce, which is massive,
Yeah.
what was the
Yeah.
reasoning behind it?
So if you see our plugins, you will see that all of our plugins actually solve some business problems, and Fluent Card is no exception. So when we build a solution for our customers, for small businesses, we always see this type of solution are already solving someone, not in WordPress but in the SaaS market. So something like, let's say, for the Fluent CRM, there is lots of very nice solution like ActiveCampaign, Mailchimp. Those are really, really nice, but in WordPress we don't have add-on. Then we took that kind of challenge and implemented that. So, and if you see in WordPress and overall WordPress, I think in last 15 years, WordPress got really some interesting development. You have we have in WordPress, we have the best page builder. Different people may have different tastes, but you have the best page builder. If you compare with the SaaS solutions, more or less, uh, and and same thing, if someone want to build a shop, we have WooCommerce, we had WooCommerce, we still have WooCommerce, and so people using WordPress for many things, not like blogging, not like static site, but many things. And I think that in e-commerce sector, we only have only one choice, that we have to use WooCommerce. And WooCommerce is really great, and I believe that without WooCommerce, the direction of WordPress would not be the same. But it started in do you know the WooCommerce actually started from a theme company. They wanted to sell themes, so they built WooCommerce, to build their theme actually, and then Automatic, acquired it and made it really, really big, developed it. And the problem is in last 15 years there has no other option to build an e-commerce. So when you have only one tool, then it cannot serve all the people. And when if I want to build a shop, anyone build a shop, then you need it's get complicated. You need tons of other add-on, and that really hit me. If I want to onboard a new user in WordPress system, then it gets crazy. Okay, I need this, I need another add-on. So you have 50, 20 add-on to build a very simple shop. So our idea was okay, we need a e-commerce solution that people can easily, build their shop. So they don't, for all the basic things, it will just work. So, less hassle and more focus on like the e-commerce solution. So that was the main idea, like, okay, let's make it easy for like people who want to really solve their business problem.
Sounds like well, to be honest, I mean, someone that's been working in WordPress for probably 20 years. One of the big pain points when you sort of deal with any clients is, yes, you could use WooCommerce, and for certain use cases, it's an okay platform. But one of the biggest inherent problems with it, and something that was immediately evident when we started testing Fluent Cart, is that the speed of actually using the admin side of things. Take the front end out of it because you can optimize that. But when it comes to the dashboard, it's not the easiest thing to optimize. So from a user's point of view, just simply logging into the dashboard with Fluent Cart, even when it was an early beta, one of the comments that I know you highlighted from the video I did, my original one, was just how fast it is to work with. And that's the nice thing. I mean, someone commented on the video I released the other day saying, is this feature available in it? And it's like, no, not yet. I'm sure it will be. But the reality is, when you come from using WooCommerce, and this is not to sort of dunk on WooCommerce, this is just, I think everybody that's used it knows that's one of the problems. When you wanted to do simple things, it took time. You wanted to open up a panel, you click, you wait, and then you get it. And when you've got 5 clicks to do something, that's painful. Working inside Fluent Cart has been like working in an application on a computer. You click it, it's open. You want to make a change, you click it, you say it's job done. And that, I think, is incredibly refreshing as opposed to what we kind of been used to. So for me, I tended to stay away from either e-commerce fully, or I would look for solutions that weren't WooCommerce, because I just kind of found it just so slow in the back end side of things, which was, like I say, was kind of painful. So obviously that's something you've focused on, is making sure that the user experience is as fast as is humanly possible with any kind of web tool. Any particular sort of technologies or any kind of ways in which you've structured it to make sure that it is fast and stays fast as it kind of scales and more products and orders and things come in? Oh, it looks like we've lost. I mean, hopefully that my question wasn't too delving, but we'll wait for Jewel to come back. Give me a second, and I'm sure we'll get it back in a moment, so bear with me. Anyway, so if anybody hasn't actually tried Fluent Cart, one of the key things that I think is incredibly useful, like I've just been saying, is just how quick it is to work with. And I think anybody that's used it will very quickly see that it is like working in a native app as opposed to working via your web browser to just basically work with anything. So, bear with me. I think Jewel's just given me a call. There we go. And we're back. And the lights are out.
Sorry. I think some technical problem. Give me a second.
That's okay. We'll talk amongst ourselves. It's fine. Don't worry. We're all back. We're all good. How much of the question did you hear?
I think I hear about the how fast the admin panel is. That was the I think last thing I heard.
So basically, the question was, what have you done to make it so fast, and what have you got in place to ensure that as it scales? And I know I've tested things like with the tens of thousands of orders where you've supplied it. What have you done to actually keep that speed? Because I think it's interesting from our point of view to kind of know what's going on.
Yeah, so definitely. So it's all about hot technology we are using. And so in last 5 years, basically in web development, lots of things changed. In 10 years or 15 years ago, we could not build this type of technology, this type of web apps, because in that time we did not have that technology. So in 5 years, 6 years, JavaScript took a dramatic market share and gave us power to build this type of super interactive, super fast application. And this the whole Fluent Cart, actually the whole admin panel, is built on JavaScript, and that's why it's super fast. And not only that, like the whole architecture of Fluent Cart is very different. Like so for an example, like we store all the your order data, your pricing data, your tags, metadata, everything to custom database tables. In WooCommerce, then even lots of plugins, they store all the data in the as a custom post type and the post meta. And when you try to query this data, it take lots of time, even when you will have like lots of data. So and we did that in few iteration. So in the first version, we did it, we made it fast. But when we load, like, okay, let's load like 500,000 orders, okay, 100,000 customers, and we see that, like, okay, it's lagging. It's like it takes like 2 seconds. Our always the goal was like, let's put like 1 million data, 1 million order, 500,000 customer, and I want to make sure that it loads within a second, less than a second. And I don't need a crazy server. Let's put that on a two. Yeah, I think, yeah. So I can continue, I think.
Yeah, go for it.
You can hear me, right?
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah. So let's go put it on a $20 server, $30 server, and see how that reacts. So that was the goal, and that was the reason, like, it took so much time. When we started Fluent Cart, so the idea of Fluent Cart was back to 2018. And then in the 19, I purchased the domain. We started on back to 2023, and then we thought, like, okay, we will work on like 6 months or 1 year, and then we release it. And then my another goal was, like, we first want to implement on our website first. So WPManageNinja, we are also a small business. We sell plugins, and we have a very complicated setup. Like, we have licensing, we have subscription, we have upgrade, and many things. So our shop was really complicated, and we implementing all this features. And another goal was, like I said, like, every request must need to be within 1 second, and that took us like few iteration. Like, I think even this year, we had to like kind of rebuild whole checkout process from shop to creating order and everything. So you can say, like, we solved many engineering problem, and as it's in WordPress, we could not even use all the other technologies. Like, we could not, we cannot use any external service, and it need to be even work in the shared server. We cannot install any, external services in the server. We don't have any control, so it need to be any standard here. So that took us really a long time, and I think, like, it was a challenge for our developers, but finally they could do it.
I think they've done a great job. I think as someone that uses quite a lot of the Fluent products, excuse me, one of the things that I like about them is they do feel responsive. We don't feel like you just sort of sat there clicking a button and waiting. And like I say, Fluent Cart being the new flagship product, I think that is more important than ever in a tool like that, where you are potentially living inside there. If you've got a busy online store, you could be living inside that store, dealing with updates, orders, returns, all those kinds of things. So it is great to see that. And like you say, excuse me, having to work with inside the constraints of WordPress in some regards, much better to strip that data out and create your own database structure, so you have a much more optimized infrastructure over trying to shoehorn it into WordPress itself, which we know can be a bit of a pain. But Daniel's got a quick question which kind of follows on from what you've just been talking about. Saying, did I get it right, the Fluent Cart is in active development since 2019?
Not actually. So that's from the idea, but active development was from 2023. So we are working like more than 2.5 years.
Nice. Okay, so speaking of plugins, you said about, if we take a look at a tool like WooCommerce and other things like that, and just basically the ecosystem around WordPress itself, it is fundamentally built around dealing with having external plugins to handle lots of different things. So how important is it that you get third-party developers on board with Fluent Cart if you take a look, for example, like Flowmatic, an automation tool. I mean, Nitin is, again, much the same as you guys. He's on the ball with it. He's already created some huge expansions for the community, for Fluent Forms, for CRM, and I know that he'll be creating for Fluent Cart. But how important is that third-party ecosystem? Do you want people to sort of be able to start tapping into Fluent Cart, or are you more happy to kind of have it as its own standalone product where it doesn't need anything else?
I think like in 2025, it's really need like third-party developer support. Give you option to extend it, because e-commerce is really really complex. When we started, I had no idea like this can be this complex, because every business that has some unique thing that they want to do in their business. So, and people use it in lots of areas, lots of way. So definitely, we need third-party developers. So something like let's say about the Flowmatic. Flowmatic actually connect with hundreds of other tools. As a developer, we are building the e-commerce solution. We cannot actually connect with hundreds of tools, because if we want to do that, we cannot focus on the core features of the e-commerce. We cannot solve that. So yeah, definitely, we need that, support from third-party developers, and we have to make sure like we are giving all the tools. Another example can be like there has like hundreds of payment gateways in the world, and so something like, let's say we are talking with a developer from Taiwan, and they were just waiting for our developer documentation, because there has a payment gateway in Taiwan, and they were asking like, hey Joel, do you want to build this payment gateway? And I told you like how many store I can have in Taiwan from how's my target audiences. So we'll be maybe like 50, 60, and then like if you build that, it will be very hard for us to maintain it, to update it, because the API can get changed. So what we are doing, like we must make sure that our API is super easy, so this community in Taiwan, they can build their own gateway. So that's why it's really important that we need that ecosystem. The second thing is like we are supporting them. Like we are building a very great developer documentation. When we building the core, we are making sure we are giving all the API so they can hook into it. They can add that. So that's the one point. Like it will be super developer friendly. Even you can ask ChatGPT and build a small function, code snippet, something like that. So that's what we are doing. But I believe another thing that like something like all the core features, it should be in the plugin. So just something like subscription, we have that in the free version. You don't need an add-on, because I believe like e-commerce is subscription is a very big part of e-commerce, and we made sure has in the core. And the same thing, something like the marketing features, like upsell, downsell, we also want to work on that, and we want to build that into the core. So there are some fine lines, like these are the things, the core features that we want to build, that will serve 80%, 90% of our customers. We want in the core, and other things it should be by the third party. So definitely, like for Flowmatic, they already they will, I think 1 or 2 days they are going to okay.
I think we're getting a bit glitchy there, unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
But I do agree with you. I think it is important. A lot of products will live and die by the ecosystem around them. If you take a look at, for example, like Elementor, one of the key reasons that that's become so big and so prevalent is because it has such a large and diverse ecosystem around it that helps it, supports it, props it up in areas where it's not strong. And like you said, I think especially with e-commerce, because I think e-commerce is probably a little bit of a slightly different beast to a lot of other platforms out there, is that a typical e-commerce store doesn't just live and die by selling products, whether it's digital products or anything else. You need support, which you can plug
Yeah.
into your support system. You need marketing, which again you can plug in, depending upon the type of tool,
Yeah.
whether it's like software and so on. A community can be super useful around it.
Yeah.
And the fact that a lot of we talk about Flowmatic, but if we take a look at things like Pabbly Connect, for example, and those kinds of tools, they all have support for Fluent CRM. And I don't doubt that that will be any different to Fluent Cart as it starts to grow and mature. That's incredibly important. You need to have the ability to talk to each other. And like you say, you can't realistically develop every single solution that every single edge case could potentially want. So it's lovely to hear, like you say, that your API is going to be so open, your documentation is going to be there for people that want to plug into that API and so on. And I did see a comment you're on about someone saying that your API is that easy. They've just done their first sort of vibe-coded sort of plug into it. There we go, Daniel again. Already vibe-coded my first snippets.
Yeah, even we did not, release the kind of like the API doc yet. Our team is working, but our if from the audience, if there is any developer, you can read the code. You will find it like it's super clean. It's beautiful. We did not we could not clean up everything, but I think in the the current state is really clean. But in the coming months, it will be more understandable, like how everything works.
Yeah, I mean, I keep saying this where people sort of comment on my videos and in the Facebook group and the community and so on about like this isn't in there and that isn't in there and this isn't in there and it doesn't do that yet. And my simple answer is, well, there's two parts to it. One, it's the first product, it's the first release. It's what I would consider in a lot of cases to be the MVP. You want to put it out there so people can viably use it and feedback on it. Yeah. But the other thing is, and your track record, and like I say, I bought Fluent CRM when that came out on the lifetime deal. What was that, 4 years ago, 5 years ago?
Yeah.
And at first, same as like the community, it's the MVP. It's the bare bones product that'll do what it needs to do. But you very quickly develop on that. And that's one of the things that I say to people. It's like, look, where it is now is not where it's going to be in 6 to 12 months. So if you're buying into it now, expecting it to do everything you want in comparison to like WooCommerce, for example, which is like 15 years old with 1,000 plugins to expand it, you're not being realistic. You're buying into the product at a lower cost that you will benefit from in the next 6 to 12 months when it matures, when those features that you're looking for get implemented, which I'm sure they will do. Some people need to just sort of like temper their expectations of what Fluent Cart is today to where it's going to be in the next 3, 6, 12 months. That is where people will start to be able to adopt it and use it in everyday projects. So temper those expectations, I would say. One of the comments, and I know this is brought up a couple of times in my own communities and so on, is with regards to accessibility. So Tomei is asking here, with elements that are not fully accessible, will they be improving this in the plugin? Is accessibility, I know it's a difficult topic, but will accessibility be something that'll be focused on in Fluent Cart and maybe any other products that are not,
Yeah, definitely. So, like, we are, so I think like accessibility, it's not like something like, we just do it and we forget about it and it will work. It's like, so for example, like Fluent Prompts, we are doing that like in every cycle. We are getting reports, we are running tests with different, services and everything. And, we are adding those, support in every cycle, every version, something like that. So, and we could not get much time with like Fluent Cart to add all those accessibility requirements, but I think within this month or next few version we'll have that, because in the shop, in the front end, we don't have like lots of elements. So we have elements for product catalog, product collection, and then the single product page, and lastly the checkout page. So these are like the 3 pages that we have to support accessibility. And I think like already I was testing actually today about the accessibility of the checkout page, and it's kind of like we have only few minor notices for the accessibility, and it's really important. And also in Europe, even Europe, in North America, there has now rule to add those things. And we want it to to work in every region. And that's why like we work with the tags and everything. So definitely, we want to work with the accessibility, and we want to make sure that it works in all region.
Yeah, to go to the tax side of things, I know again I've been following quite a lot of the comments and the feedback, and there've been some fantastic people inside the WPManageNinja community that are incredible at digging through everything you're doing and coming back with things that could be changed, improved, the different legislations. And I think again this is where people need to be realistic, is just how diverse the world is when it comes to all the different legislation, like GDPR in the UK, the different ones in different states in America and different countries. I can imagine it's an absolute minefield, and not something you can just go, oh, but we'll fix that in 5 minutes. You need to know what needs to be approached and how to approach it and how to cater for it, and if it conflicts with something else. So I don't envy you on that front at all. At all.
So definitely, like it's complicated. I want to give you an example. So something like last 1.5 months we are working with one of our customer. He is a lawyer, and he's also graduated from Harvard, and also tax lawyer. And we are working with him. He gave me like all the things like we need to implement and everything. We implemented it. Yesterday we post from one of our customer from Germany. He only do like B2B sales, and then he mentioned like, Joel, it's fine, it's working, it will work for B2C, but for specific, if a shop is only selling on B2B, you have to implement this exception. So it's really complicated. So that's the idea. Like we are open to improve it, and we want to improve it.
Yeah, I think we're probably talking about the same thread that I was looking at as well, like the business to business to customer in Germany, and for Germany to the Netherlands and so on. So it's a minefield. I know from my own point of view when I looked into it to do with like selling courses and things, and it's not simple and straightforward at all. And to implement that into your software, I can imagine there's going to be some head scratching and some late nights on that one. So we've got a couple of questions come in, so I want to quickly ask you a couple of questions before we move on, if that's okay. So first of all, we got Dudan is asking, did I hear right that Fluent Cart is basically a JS app on top of WordPress with custom database tables? If so, move that to WP and possibly have it run on top of another platform. In other words, I'm assuming, could it be sort of taken away from WordPress and use it independently with maybe Joomla or something?
Also, not actually. So the front end you are seeing in the admin panel, that's the JS application. So we call it SPA, single page application. So it's just load only once, and then it behaves like a desktop application. But all the other things like the processing, data processing, order processing, everything, all the API is actually written in WordPress. It's technically it's on like custom database tables, but that's for performance, and we don't want to make your WordPress slow. WordPress, like your post and users, those we don't want to make it slow. But technically, it's actually using all the WordPress function. WordPress API is super beautiful, the core API actually, and we are using it. So you cannot build it on top of another platform like Joomla or Drupal. It needs to be in WordPress, but we made sure like that it's for the performance we had to use JavaScript. There is no alternative.
Fair enough. I think that's answered the question. And we've got, and this, I think this is a very important one. It's like, saying they've got lots of clients that are using managed solutions, for example, something like Cart. Is it realistic to expect a migration solution to Fluent Cart from Cart? There's just too many carts in there for me. And I think if you were part of the community, and I know you've sort of said about this, I think one of the things that you do want to do, not to put words in your mouth, is that you do want to make it easy to migrate where possible into Fluent Cart. Would that be right?
So definitely. So for the migration actually, because that's e-commerce is something like if we want to onboard lots of users in Fluent Cart, we have to make sure we cannot disturb the existing business model. So like for us, like we we spent like weeks to migrate like hundreds of thousands of record from EDD to Fluent Cart, because as a business I cannot just switch my new platform, because all my customer data, order data, everything. So we know we must have to work on it. We have to give like everything, we tools to migrate everything from their activity, order, customer history, payment record, invoice record, everything. And we started working on it. We did some R&D. Currently we have migration for EDD2. We will, I think, next month we will release for EDD3. We are also working on WooCommerce. That's another plan, because lots of users have WooCommerce sites. I think that's the biggest one. And so that will take some time. So the first phase will be from WooCommerce with the simple orders, if you don't have any subscription, you can do that. We can easily do that, but if you have the subscription, then maybe it will take some time. SureCart, it's a bit different. We did some R&D. The only problem is actually EDD and WooCommerce is easy, because all the data in the database, we can query it, we can reformat it, we can insert in our database and format on our own way. Problem with SureCart is the data is not in your server. So for every, for one order, if we want to get one order, we have to query, send request to their server, to SureCart server, most probably 10 or 15 requests, because those data are different endpoints, like customer data, your variance data, your transaction data, your activity data, something like that. The problem is actually they have a very critical rate limiting. For this data, you cannot send 40 requests per minute. And so for migrate one order or two order, I have to wait 1 minute. And again, something like that. So that is something we have the problem. So we got hundreds of messages about this. Every day we are getting that our support ticket in our chat, I have a shop there, I want to migrate it. So we are trying to find a solution. Most probably one will be something start the migration. So periodically we will try to get the order data stored somewhere temporarily, and once all done, then we will run the migration, something like that. But if they had not this rate limiting, we could do it actually easily. So that is something we are doing some R&D, and let's see if we can do that, because we are really getting hundreds of requests per day for that migration.
I can imagine
think that's the most requested.
Yeah. The thing is, like you say, because it's not a WordPress-based platform, it is using its own hosted sort of accounts, database structure, and all that kind of stuff. I can imagine it is going to be difficult. And also, where you say about subscriptions, because that's an ongoing subscription with Stripe or PayPal or something, that's not going to, I wouldn't have thought that would be easy to be able to keep those going if you migrate from one platform to another, because I would have thought the agreement is going to be via that platform. I could be talking rubbish, but I think there's probably a lot to take into consideration. It's not just a case of migrating some data. There's probably a lot of residual things that need to be brought across, and whether that's possible. And like you say, with the rate limiting with regards to SureCart, which obviously they don't want to be bombarded with DDoS attacks and things, so they're going to limit how much can come from one particular IP address or one particular port, whatever it is, just to kind of reduce the risk of being hammered and taking them offline. So not an easy thing to do, but keeping with the sort of the financial things. Christoph has asked, will currency support be full-blown or limited like with SureCart? Now, I don't use SureCart, so I don't know exactly what he's referring to with regards to currency support, but I'm assuming it's just different currencies from around the world to be available, or I don't know. So I'll pass that over to you.
Okay, so the currency support, full-blown or limited to SureCart. So our system, the database, if you open the database, orders table or customer table or product table, you will see that every place we have two columns. One is the currency, another one is the currency fraction. So when we did the design of the database, we made sure we can support multiple currency. But multiple currency, that is something kind of it's bit complicated because if you think about it, like if you have like multiple currency, we have like let's say the reporting. So reporting it, then the currency wise.
I think we might have lost
It's
Jewel
not
again.
implemented. Can I just switch my internet? I think that will be better.
Yeah, go for it. I'll just call you back in when you're ready. If you jump back out, I will try not to answer any questions though. Okay, so while we wait for Jewel to see if he can sort of transition his.
I think I'm back, right?
Yeah, you're still there. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
Right.
I was talking about the currency. So the idea of like the currency, we have that support in our database, and we want to do that, but I'm not sure when we will really implement it. But if we do implement the multi-currency, it will be definitely real multi-currency. It's not like we'll just convert it and charge that still in your main currency. But I can promise like, okay, it will be available in the next quarter, this quarter. I can't promise that, but we have that capability in the database level. We thought about it, we did that, but we exactly we don't know when we'll do it.
Fair enough. Hopefully that's answered the question anyway. So I've got a really difficult one here from Imran. You might want to take a couple of minutes to compose yourself to sort of answer it, but will you be at WordCamp Asia?
I will try it. So, I don't try to miss any WordCamp. Like I will join WordCamp Malaysia. I think last for 3-4 years I always join WordCamp Europe. Next year definitely I'm looking forward to join WordCamp Europe. For WordCamp Asia, that is happening in India. So currently the problem is like we have some political problem with the two countries. So currently, we don't have any visa. So most probably, if there still have the visa issue, I can't attend. That will be really shame. But I will try to issue the visa from another country and see if we can make it. I love WordCamp. I think I joined more than 20-30 WordCamps, talked. I love people. If you are a community member in Facebook, and you see that, like, I always try to interact with people, real people, and get feedback or just hang out. So yeah, definitely I'll try, but I'm not sure yet.
Fair enough. I've never actually been to a WordCamp, so I'd be curious if Imran's going. If that's why he's asking. If it is, then let me know, Imran. Okay, so this is more of a comment than a question from Simon. He says he's a Shopify partner and been working with Woo for over 10 years, and this initial V1 that you've launched is amazing. So there's a nice bit of feedback.
Thank you.
And Simon is someone that I talk to on a very regular basis, and we talked about Fluent Cart, and we've talked about he's used WooCommerce a lot and Shopify a lot and things like that. So we've talked about a lot of different things in the background. So Simon is someone that
I just want to add something like to Simon. Like, I'm a big fan of Shopify. Like, when we started working, before we started working on Fluent Cart, I thought like Shopify is so beautiful. It's so intuitive. Like if we had something like WordPress, like Shopify, and then when we started working on Fluent Cart, then like our inspiration was like the Shopify, like let's make it something like that with Shopify, give the same type of experience. And I'm not sure like how much we could do it, and at the mid we did not follow everything about the Shopify, but you can say like we are really inspired by Shopify. So yeah, I'm really grateful with Shopify.
To be honest, I've never really used Shopify. I've looked at it, but
Okay.
not something I've ever dealt with. I know Simon, like I say, he's a Shopify partner, so he's done a lot with it.
Yeah.
And I've talked to a few people with regards to Shopify and how restrictive it is to do certain things and how expensive it can get very, very quickly. And I think that's a scary thing. Okay. So before any more questions kind of come in, and if anybody's got any questions, please do ask them. Just do #Q at the beginning because it makes it easy then to see what questions are. To go back to some of my questions or little things that I popped up, which I shared with you earlier. Right, two things. Let's start off with the sort of abandoned carts and that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
checkout is where most customers, where you lose most customers. What have you kind of done, or what are you aiming to do with Fluent Cart to help reduce that potential problem?
Yeah. So, I think that for any shop, checkout is the most important part. And we really spent lots of time into this module to make it super optimized. So something like we did some already implement something in our core. So something like, let's say you're going to buy something, and then your billing country will always be something like from where the IP address is coming from, right? And then we don't actually like access the IP address, but if you are using like Cloudflare always send the country from the header. So we take that, we pre-selected that. So what it does actually, it seems simple, but it add lots of improvement on the checkout page. Like if you have the country selected, we can load your country's shipping method. We can preload the your states in that checkout page. Let's say you are not the shop is not using Cloudflare, but we have from the browser we can find the time zone, and from the time zone we can guess the country, so we can pre-select that. So that's a very small thing that we have implemented, and we want to do that. We did that, and we see that like it really either in less than 1 second we can load the checkout page, and it's just made it ready. So for we also did something like in the very core, even in the free version, like lots of store they don't need like lots of fields. Like let's say someone is actually like selling coats something, and maybe they are not making any like digital product, and they are not collecting all the other fields, and you can actually like disable the fields from the core. Like you don't need like address field 2, you don't need the phone field, even maybe you don't need the like the address field at all. You can disable everything, and you can still collect the payment. So this type of thing like we did in the core, and it's available in the free version, that something you can enable that to do the process. So another thing that we want to do in the code that you don't need like a third-party plugin, something like add a field to your checkout page, and we want to do that in the core. Like you can do that. The reason we want to do that core actually like that, because when it's a third-party developer, I can't guarantee like it will be always like fast, because they can do some lots of condition, lots of database queries. I don't want to make it like slow. So that's kind of something like we want to do the core, especially for checkout page. So you need you will have everything that you need for the checkout process. And also we did a like technical part perspective. So something like let's say you are purchasing something, and what we did actually like we send you first to the thank you page, and then we run all the integration. Like I have to sending a webhook, I have to create an account, I have to send the receipt email to send email to admin, because this a thing it take time to send an email. You have to say do API request and everything. So we do that after confirming the payment. Like hey, the payment is done. We show you like a payment done. You are going to the thank you page, and in the meantime, within seconds, we run all the other actions. So that's something like we did very like intelligently. So you will not feel that like there has any delay with this action and something. So this type of decision that we could make, and I think if we could, we would build that 10 years ago, like WooCommerce or in other platform, we would not do that because it's a new. We know like what exact problems people are facing in the current technology. So we could solve this problem, and the thing is like if we integrate something, if like so something like, for example, like for WooCommerce, their WooCommerce is trying to solve a problem that is like their, high performance order table. You heard about it, and they are trying to, fully implement it for last, I think, 6-7 years, from 18, 19, something like that. And, they could not do it yet. Why they could not do it? Because tons of other add-ons, tons of shop is still running on the classic table. And that's why, like, in the in Fluent Cart, we can do it because we know there's problems already, and we implement all those things and make sure that it will not be misused even by the third-party developers.
Awesome. Now, speaking of the checkout, to kind of keep on going with that, I've been playing about with the Bricks integration, because obviously Bricks is my kind of first builder of choice. One thing I'd love to sort of be able to see, and I don't know if this is something you have planned or not, is where you've got the various different elements. For example, let's focus on the checkout. I'd love to have the ability to take the checkout pieces and be able to build the design I want out. Is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good.
So no, it's not yet, but it's like kind of like so we most probably, so the first we are kind of like doing it. We already have that with the back end. We already have that all the elements actually render independently. Yeah. So we have to just make the elements available in Bricks. We already did that. I think you saw that, like, you can actually create a template for your single product page in Bricks. Yeah. And you can rearrange everything. Like, if you don't want gallery, you can just delete it. If you want to show description just after the pricing, you can do that. So that's like a planned feature, and we want to do that. But most probably, my best guess is within this quarter we will have that support.
I think, like I say, these for me are nice to haves. They're not something that would be a deal breaker. If it means moving away from other things.
The thing is, like, I don't want anyone to feel like I am missing something from switching from like WooCommerce or something, because for example, like for Bricks user, they are like super one thing is like definitely vocal, another thing is like super power users, and I think like very normal people don't use Bricks because Bricks give all the power to build anything, to customize anything, play with it. And that's something like when we even build an element for Fluent Cart, we actually read like every line of code of the Bricks team's implementation in their code, and kind of like we want to add all the support the like current WooCommerce has, and we did that. So like we really follow that. So Bricks team made it easy for us that they have a like an implementation, so we can easily implement that. And a few areas we actually like kind of like improved it. So something like you cannot do something like Ajax next page. When you do Ajax next page, it's not like true Ajax. It's do the like full page refresh. But we solved that problem. And like if you go to the next page, it will load like within half second.
Yeah, I think this is again one of those key areas, because I know that with some page builders like Elementor, Bricks, and that, and so on, WooCommerce integration, and I don't think it's particularly the builder's fault, but it sometimes doesn't feel like it's the best solution. And I think if you can again separate yourself from WooCommerce and make that whole process as customizable, as easy, and retain the speed, I think that's going to be a massive selling point to connect those tools together. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that. Okay, we've got a couple more questions. And I'm going to go through those, if you don't mind. Let's have a little look. Where did I see the first one? I want to make sure that I'm not missing any out in the kind of order that they're kind of coming in. So, okay. So we've got Mark probably from Wiki Designs. And I think we kind of covered this at the beginning when we talked about third-party sort of plugins and so on. But basically, will there be a marketplace for advanced features, or will you basically manage the development of those yourself? I think that kind of goes back to what we said at the beginning with the third-party integrations. Okie dokie. So basically, Mark, there's a lot will be taken care of internally. those kind of core things, but the API and the documentation and so on will be there to help people if they want to expand what can be done. That is definitely an integral part of what's going on. As far as the marketplace, I mean, is that something you've ever thought of doing, or would you prefer the sort of developers to do their own thing?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like marketplaces, that's a very big thing. It's all not technically, it's not the big thing, but the problem, I think the most part is legal thing, accounting thing. I don't want to go there, but if someone build an add-on, I want to promote it. Like if you don't have this, if someone actually, let's say, build a pouch, if our customers actually ask for it, we'll definitely list that, and they're like, well, there's at the pouch available on Fluent Cart. You can take a look. We don't want to be biased. We just give you the customers information that these are available. You can do that. But as a marketplace, I don't know. Like I don't want to do that. Next couple of years or something.
No, I can imagine a marketplace would be a huge amount of work and not necessarily for much of a reward. So yeah, I don't blame you on that front. I'm going to ask you one more question from the list, and then I've got a question that I want to sort of ask you with regards to Fluent Cart. So let me have a little look. There was, I think George was asking, where was it? They was asking about the documentation, the developers docs. I mean, was it right saying that there's potential that's going to be released later on today, or is it going to be a little longer than that?
So after this QA, I am going to release it. I'm going to post it. It's not 100% done, but we tried to cover the main data structure, how our hooks, action hooks, filter hooks work. That's the thing. Our developers are working on currently, like how you can the most requested one, like how you can build a custom payment gateway. So that will be, I think, mostly available. But within next 1-2 week, we will try to cover like 90% of all the documentation. The first version will be available after this live.
Yeah, again, because I think the product is so much in development and especially things like tax and stuff like that, you probably, as you learn more with the different legal requirements in different parts of the world, that's going to change things. So write the documentation at this point would probably be a little counterintuitive, because you'd end up probably just rewriting them every couple of days as things change and evolve. So I think that's the most important thing to say is, yes, there will be some of it out over the next week or two, but be patient, because there's going to be a lot of things that are kind of still in a state of flux as feedback comes in from people using it now, not just the beta testers. Because I can imagine your user base has suddenly grown exponentially from the beta testers, and you're going to get huge amounts of feedback and questions and all those kinds of things. So, I think just give the guy some space. Let's have some room for expansion and changes. Okay, so I know that when I watched your live stream yesterday, one of the things you spoke about was that you've had a plan, and you have a plan for where you want Fluent Cart to be. So for anybody that hasn't actually watched that or didn't get a chance to see it, what's your plan for the next, say, 2 to 5 years? Where do you see and where do you want Fluent Cart? And maybe as part of the whole Fluent ecosystem, what's your vision for it? What's the dream for it?
Okay, so Fluent Cart, it's a really something like it's very kind of like personal thing about Fluent Cart, and you can. You already know, like if you already purchased it, you see that like we the checkout process, the account, and everything is separate than WPManageNinja. So I believe like Fluent Cart itself, it will be like bigger than most probably WPManageNinja, and so the reason I'm saying it, like we have a plan, like we really want to grow it. We really want to grow it fast. We want to make it big, and solve the problems of hundreds of thousands of people, and as soon as possible. And that's why like we are prepared for that. Like I know like it will not be like overnight. It will not be like automatically. We just release it and it will be automatic. I don't believe that. And as an entrepreneur, I know like what it will take to go there, and like we are prepared for that. I said like the idea was like 2019, but we could not build that time because I know like it will take a tremendous amount of tons of like resources, tons of financial backup and everything, and I think this is the best time for us because our the parent company WPManageNinja, it's really very stable, profitable. We have all the team for each of our product, and I think this is the best time that we can invest everything on it. As a founder, I really live a very simple life, so I don't need like tons of money from the business. So I'm a salaried person from the business. So mostly our plan is like we want to reinvest like everything onto Fluent Cart and make it really really big. That's the plan. So what I can say like I want to solve this problem for the people, make it like super super easy, that you don't need like tons of add-on, tons of technical barriers. You will go there, you will just install it, and you will have a shop. And I want to make sure like all the core features, especially like marketing features like cart abandonment, upsell, downsell, this type of thing, so people can optimize their shop and make more money. That's kind of the dream that I want to give them, and they can build that shop. And definitely like the overall ecosystem, definitely I think it's a very positive for us. Like we have like other plugins like for marketing, for community building, customer support. With that we have those add-ons, so definitely it will add values. And as those plugins is also built by us, so we can give more support. But it will not be something like we only give the support for those add-ons, for those plugins. We want to make it open. If someone don't like Fluent CRM, they like another CRM or email marketing system,
Yeah.
I want to make sure that they can easily do that. So that's the plan. Like we want to make it really big, and it will be like really super fast way. We want to go there.
Excellent. I think there's two things that will definitely help you achieve that. I think one, which is already being seen, is you have the creator community, people like Imran, Mac from SiteCrafter, Jackson, people like that creating content about Fluent Cart. I think a lot of companies underestimate how important that is and how that can actually make a big difference, because when you've got people talking about it and covering it, whether it's in education, content or whatever, that is massive, I think, and that helps a lot of companies. I think one of the reasons why Elementor was so big so quick is because it had so many people creating content on it, and good content on it, and a lot of content on it. And I think that's probably one of the reasons why it took off so quickly at the beginning. And the other thing I think is having third-party support, so people like Nitin from Flowmatic and so on, and external tools that are not necessarily WordPress orientated, like you've got with Fluent CRM. All those things will help push you, because it elevates the name, it elevates the brand, and people can see where it is. And I think you guys do a great job as well on your own channel creating content on it, because I know that there's a lot of stuff that I watch on there about community and so on, to kind of get a feel for various different aspects. Think, you get little sort of like light bulb moments, think, I didn't think of doing it that way. So I think you guys need to keep doing what you're doing, and and I know how good you are at supporting the other people in the community as well. So from my point of view, I appreciate everything that you've done where we've talked over the last probably year or so as well.
Yeah, I think like the community support is really really important. So something like some people are asking me like what you guys actually did. Like you did not release Fluent Cart yet, but many people are talking. I see lots of videos from YouTube, how much you spent on it, and then I look, we did not spend a single dollar. Yeah, $0 on the whole Fluent Cart launch. We just built a good product. I think like we have a very good relationship with our community, and so, and definitely they did it on their own. So and also like I think the community super important for any product. One thing like I believe that we build product as a team or as a founder. We don't build product for ourselves. Like for every member of my team, they don't work to make me happy. So Joel will like it, so we'll do this way. That's never happened in our company. So I believe like we are building product for the end user, like who is my target audience, a shop owner, a small business, maybe someone whose age is like 40 years, maybe 30 years. So we are building for them, and that's why like we take like every feedback from the community, from our customer, from support. We aggregate those, and then we add those to our development. We send to the R&D. Sometimes we cannot implement all the features because maybe they're too niche to implement. But we try to help them. Like, okay, you can use this snippet for that. So it's super important. I say it like it's a social way to build a product. And that really works for us. Like for every product we do the same way, and that's I think that's one of the reason like we are doing this LTD, this very fast lifetime deal, because I think we did not needed the money, but we needed this users. We needed them, even they will talk about it, they will use it, they will give feedback, and we will build from there. So yes, that's really helped. So if you're a founder watching this is a really good way to build a good product.
Absolutely. And I think whatever you're doing, keep doing it, because I think it's important. And sort of closing things up, I think the fact that you are so involved in the community, whether that's on Facebook, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's through messages, because like I say, I've messaged you and you're always incredibly quick getting back to me, which is much appreciated. But also, like I say, in the community that you've got, that WPManageNinja community, I see you answering as many questions as is humanly possible. And I think a lot of people do appreciate that. And I think that transparency is something you don't necessarily always see. And I think it's incredibly important. So I think stick to doing that, because I think it's super useful and super important.
Definitely.
And I sort of want to wrap things up there, because like I say, I'm conscious of your time. I want to say thank you very much for joining me today. If people want to find out more about Fluent Cart, how can they do that if they don't already know?
So they can go to our, first our website, fluentcart.com. We try to, add all the information that you need. To that, we already have like, free versus pro, what features we have, something like that. We already have a community, so you can, it's community.wpmanager.com, or if you go to the website, you will see that like the community link. You can ask question, and I think Paul has some nice video even from our beta, so you can take a look there. And yeah, so that's where you can find it. If you have any specific question that you are not finding it, you can open a support ticket. We have like 24-hour chat. You can ask there. You can send me message from our community. I will try to answer as possible. And if you did not purchase yet and want to purchase, please use Paul's link, affiliate link, and that is one like I really feel happy when I see a purchase, when I get the email like an affiliate made a sale. I really feel happy about it, and because creating content, it's really hard, and I did not know that until we started create content, YouTube videos, and it's really like crazy complicated, and it's really hard. Like if you did not create a video, you will not know like how hard it is to make a video. And so yeah, support Paul. I am a fan. I think I don't miss a single video from Paul. I have like this notification on. I get these videos and I try to watch that, and sometimes I feel like, okay, in this transition he did, I think like spend hours to do this transition or something like that. So yeah, I appreciate everything about creating content videos. So I would like to thank you to make the tutorial about WordPress, about our products, and also doing this show.
My pleasure, my pleasure. And while we're talking about it, make sure you also check out Imran's video because he released that, I think, yesterday on the free version of Fluent Cart. So if you want to see what you can do without paying any money or you just want to try it yourself, check out Imran's video because I think it goes into a lot of detail there. Anyway, thank you so much for being involved in this today. And I think what I'd love to do, and if you'd be open for doing it, is in 6 months' time, we do another one and we take a look back at what's changed in the last 6 months in Fluent Cart. And I think we'll probably see an awful lot of changes in that period of time. So if you're up for that, I'd love to do it.
Yeah, that will be really, really interesting. And I'm like kind of taking as a goal, to do that video and, like just look back and see like what progress we did. And I'm sure like we will have, lots of things to talk about.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, thank you very much. I'm going to log everybody off now. So thank you, everybody, for joining in today. I hope you found this super useful. Having the conversation, getting your questions answered, and so on. And if you want to check it out, check out fluentcart.com so you can take a look there and you can grab yourself either the free version to test it out or you can grab yourself the lifetime deal that's running right now. But check it out, support it, and make sure that you make this an amazing product. Thank you very much, Jewel, for today, and I will see you all very, very soon. Have a fantastic day and look after yourselves wherever you are.
Thank you all.